So I've been getting a little more done on this twin turbo Pro Street project. Got the motor where I want it now. Well, it's not welded in or anything, or not bolted in, but positioned where I want it. So now I'm just taking it out again. The next thing up here would be to cut the floor out. I've got to make a new tunnel. So I've got a new floor kit coming. I figured it was probably easier to buy one with the tunnel pre-formed and the floor in sections. So I've got that coming. So now I'm going to start cutting this floor out. I want to leave that back piece in there for now because it's supporting the body, and then the firewall part is going to get changed too because I'm going to have to cut out around the firewall there for the new tunnel. I just got to sit up quite a bit higher. So the firewall part section is going to stay for now, and then that back section is going to stay. And then so we'll cut this floor out, and then we'll wait for the new sections to come, and we'll make a new floor section. And I think what I'm going to do is, if you look down here where the seats mount, it's almost even with the top of this, and then the floor dips down. Well, the new floor comes flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld it almost to the top of this tubing here, so that way the tubing won't stick up as much, and that'll give me room to, I got to weld some tubing underneath here, like from the corners out to the rockers, and then along the rocker panel here, and then back for bracing for the roll cage. So that'll allow me to do that a lot easier. But the four-link, the back half part is welded in now. I'm still waiting for the wheels and tires, so I need those in there before I do any kind of measurements for the rear housing. And then once I get the rear housing in, then I can weld in the cross members for the shock mounts and the wishbone. This one here I just have tacked in, just to keep the width, but the wheel tubs are in nice and tight up against the frame rails, and then also nice and snug up against the quarter panel. It's just kind of tacked in there in a few spots, but it's going to be a really nice fit. Seal it up against the quarter panel, and then we'll weld them onto the frame rails. But that's about as far as I've gotten for now. So I'm going to leave this brace in here for now because I got this body brace in here. It's keeping the body from flexing lots and pulling in or out, so that the door panels and everything, the quarter panels line up with the doors and all that. So that's also another reason why I want to keep that center structure in here and keep the firewall in here, because when I cut this floor out, I don't want the body to distort in any way, so that everything is going to stay in alignment. And then I've got the fenders bolted in place here. Not all the bolts are in. They're just kind of sitting there, holding the rat support. And the rat support is actually pushed in a little bit. We're going to have to pull that out. You can see it's kind of bowed. It's good in the center, and then it kind of bows out this way on both sides. So this will have to be straightened out. And then I'm going to cut that. This is just a tube that came with the chassis kit, just to keep everything supported. That'll get cut out, and then the lower rat support, which is right there on that dolly, that has to get straightened out because somebody was pulling on that and got it all bent out of shape. So I got to straighten that out, get it back in place, get the radiator in place, and then I've also decided to put the turbos down in here and have the air inlet coming up in front of the radiator and then up to the throttle body on both sides, and then the exhaust is going to go underneath here, up and over and down, and then out the back. So I got to order a bunch of tubing and whatnot to fit the turbos in, and I think I'm going to put some polyurethane motor mounts in here. Right now it's got solid motor mounts, and I don't want him to feel the vibrations in that when he's driving the car. So I get some good quality poly mounts in there, and then the turbo is going to have flex pipe coming off for the exhaust, and then they're going to be mounted to the headers here, but there's going to be a lot of movement, so I'm going to have to rubber mount, make some mounts to mount the turbos to the chassis so that everything can kind of move here a little bit and not crack the tubing or, you know, turbo pipe and intake pipe and all that. So but for now, yeah, I'm gonna start cutting the floor out, and then once the floor kit gets here, then we can start doing some more fabricating. It's coming along. 4-link the rear section was not too bad to get in. I had to notch the frame down there, like to fit flush on the 2x3, like it's 3 inches this way and 2 inches that way. So we notched out 2 inches, and it'll be 1 inch back, and then I welded the 4-link brackets on. So that'll be very solid, and then the roll cage, of course, will tie into all that and make everything really rigid. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way the wheel tubs came out. So we'll get going on this.